So hello everybody, my name is Kamlesh and today I am here with the video on the poem of Gurudev Rabindra Nath Tagore. He was the first man in the whole Asian continent to win the Nobel Prize on 30 November 1930, which is a very pride for India to win the first Nobel Prize in the whole world, in the whole Asian continent. His book Gitanjali. This book actually win this prize. He was born on 7 May 1861 in Bengali family. He was a Bengali writer and he has recited many poems. So, so I am gonna do the poem of Gurudev Rabindra Nath Tagore, which is The Mind Without Fear. In Bengali version, it is also known as Chitto Jetha Bhoy Shuno. So let's start with the video. Where the Mind is Without Fear by Rabindranath Tagore. As you can see his photo at the right side of the screen. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high. Where the knowledge is free. Where the world has not broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Where words come out from the depth of truth. Where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection. Where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into a dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake. Where the mind is without fear is the pre independent poem in which the poet sincerely urges to God to awake his fellow beings from the realization that essential need to live in a free and united country. He wants his countrymen to awake and enjoy the life of full dignity and honor. His countrymen would not be superstitious or believers of blind faith, rather than they would lead the life of enlightenment and educated. He wishes to the people to be honest, open-minded and industrious. They then only they would stretch their arms towards perfection, and nation can actually achieve the apex of success. They need to use their reasons over their blights and must be ready to accept new thoughts and ideas. He requests God to free his country from manipulation, corruption, and slavery. He yearns for a awakened country where there would be freedom of mind and expression of ideas. The poem invokes the deep patriotic feelings. Our country is subjugated by caste, creed, superstitious beliefs, and biased ideas. Tagore earnestly appeals to God that a country would be where people heads held high and knowledge is free. His country would not be divided and fragmented into pieces due to their narrow thoughts. They should express their words not from the mind but from the depth of truth and heart. He urges God to guide his countrymen for moral awakening, to fight for their rights against British inhuman rules, liberate them from the fear of oppression, repression, and unshackle the chains of fear and direct them to paths of progress and prosperity. They should be confident, not confused. There would not be injustice and inequality in the country of the basis of caste, creed, and gender. Countrymen should be prejudiced and open minded, accepting all new challenges and changes. They should lead their life of decency and dignity. To conclude, Where the Mind is Without Fear is a poem which Tagore reveals his personal quest of divine and characterized by a variety of original themes both in thought and expression. Their poem is remarkable to a great extent, which expresses the intensity of feelings of freedom. His poem is universal and in appeal and envisions the heaven of freedom and happier future of mankind. So now let's move towards the literary devices used in this poem. The first is metaphor. It is a figure of speech in which word or a phrase is applied to an object or action to which it is not literally applicable. There are various examples of metaphor in this poem. For example, the narrow domestic walls, which is used to indicate the various barriers. Clear stream of reason refers to a mind which is always guided by the reason rather than the superstitious. And the Delhi desert, which symbolizes the superstitions. And the next is the alliteration. It is the occurrence of a same letter or sound at the beginning or the adjacent closely to connected words. For example, where the mind is without fear. Here, W is repeated 2 times. At, where, and without. The next is the head is held high. Here, H is repeated 3 times. As we can see here, the H is repeated 3 times. Now the next is the striving stretches. Here S is repeated 2 times. The next is the not being broken. Here B is repeated 2 times. The next is the day desert sand of dead habit. Here D is repeated 4 times. Here D is repeated 3 times. So now let's move towards the another literary device, symbolism. The poet uses various symbols in this poem to indicate some other thing. For example, the depth of truth. The narrow domestic walls refers to the marginalization of the person according to its caste, community, racial discrimination, which creates a sense of disunity among the citizens. The clear stream of reason, which refers to the mind which is always guided by the reasons rather than the superstitious blind faith, etc. And the last is the Delhi desert and the heaven of freedom. The Delhi desert indicates the superstitious blind faith, etc. The heaven of freedom indicates about the freedom to do anything which we want. We right to speech, right to equality, etc. Tagore's poem, Where the Mind is Without Fear, has passed more than a century, but it is still equally relevant. The qualities that the poet has talked about in the poem are indeed universal. We denoted to achieve those to live a happy and peaceful life. Unless your knowledge, national, truthful, beloved, minded, hardworking, and fearless, cannot get success in life and live a happy life. We have achieved only political freedom, but we haven't been able to realize the freedom fully. Still, there are curses of superstitious caste system, disunity, illiteracy, and so on. So this poem has not lost its relevance this time. I hope you like this video and understand the basic concepts that Gurudev Rabindra Nath Tagore wants to explain you about with the help of his poem, The Mind Without Fear. So once again, thank you for giving your precious time.